Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're doing a recap and review of Married at First Sight season 12 episode 6, Defending Your Wife, Erik and Virginia. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button, and also feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below, because I do like to engage with my viewers and subscribers. So without further ado, let's jump into this video. So these two are vibing and smiling. Their connection are one of the stronger ones in the group of couples that we have on this season. And they're actually gelling. So they definitely have big smiles on their faces. So both Erik and Virginia are out with the guys and the girls. Erik is insisting that he and Virginia haven't discovered any issues yet, where we have Virginia rattling off a list to the girls about how she's younger than Erik and has been promiscuous in the past few years, which Erik apparently does not like. Virginia also said that Erik is a traditional Southern boy, while she's pro-choice and believes in gay marriage. In addition, Virginia complained about how Erik wasn't okay with her having guy friends, which, you know, she claimed were her best friends. And then even at one point in the honeymoon, Virginia even broke down about the couple's differences to her new gal pal, Clara. And obviously this is a serious issue with her, because these friends of hers were friends prior to them getting married, and she don't want to let them go. So that's something that they definitely going to have to figure out. But Ryan told the guys that, you know, of course, he was more reserved person than Clara was, and Erik understood where he was coming from. But let's talk about Erik for a minute. I mean, he was definitely not in the moment. He was slurring in his speech. You can tell he was falling asleep, and he was definitely not here with the group. I mean, some of the guys peeped that, you know, situation. And I mean, he really nodded off at this point. And then, of course, Virginia being concerned about Paige. She mentioned in the confessional that she wasn't a big fan of Chris. And, of course, you know, Paige told her, you know, she didn't expect any challenges, but, you know, hopefully they should go up from sub-zero. And, of course, Virginia agreed. And look like Erik is still trying to wake up from whatever it is that he's tired from. So meanwhile, Erik is starting to worry how Virginia was going to be in their marriage, because they were drinking a lot on the honeymoon together, as Erik had confessed. And this is just not him. And you can tell it that this is something that he normally doesn't do, because it doesn't look like he holds his liquor well. Whereas with Virginia, we really haven't seen her drunk at all on the episode, but we did catch her drinking. Virginia seemed focused on partying, but told Erik that they need to mesh their lifestyles. Virginia asked Erik to party with her every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, but Erik said that he couldn't do that and wasn't willing to risk his job for that type of life. Virginia was concerned that Erik didn't enjoy drinking, and Erik told Virginia they need to have mutual respect. Erik told Virginia that she could go out whenever she wanted to, but he wouldn't be joining her most of the time, and that, you know, he needed to trust her. And Virginia said, you know, she thinks he's going to have to do a little give and take on this. I'm a stubborn person, and I'm going to be a drinker, and I'm always down for a good time. And that's what she had said to the cameras. If he want to come in and try to change me, that's not okay with me. That's not how I operate, and I'm not going to respond well to it. And, you know, of course, Virginia predicted she and Erik were going to have issues over the partying. And Erik just reminded her that she was a married woman now. So it's interesting to see how they're going to mesh this. You know, obviously, you know, in her single life, you know, she's used to going out with her friends partying. This is not something that Erik is accustomed to, even though he has participated in drinking on the honeymoon. But at some point, there's got to be some compromise. And in regards to, transitioning from being single over to now being in a married relationship. So Virginia got some things to think about. Erik got some things to think about if they're going to figure this out, because he's concerned about that. He don't want to lose his job over, partying and drinking, and she's not willing to budge about changing that aspect of her life. So, I mean, guys, let me know what you think. Do you think this is something that they can figure out? What do you think he should do? What do you think she should do in regards to making this work and trying to be coexisting in this relationship with the partying and everything? Then the other issue is being out with her male friends. That's the other thing that is concerning to Erik, and how they're going to mesh that situation out, because she doesn't want to give up her male friends. And these are people that either she's probably known since childhood, and that they have been friends all her life, or majority of the time of her life. And, of course, Erik is like, at one point they probably wanted to sleep with you. I don't trust you being with single men as friends. So they definitely going to have to, hash those things out. Her lifestyle is a little bit more outgoing than his, because of him being really, really, truly conservative. I mean, it seems like he's trying to meet her halfway, because he definitely has been drinking throughout the time of this honeymoon. But, how are they going to figure this thing out? And I know I posed this question to you guys last week about men and women being friends. So now, Erik, Virginia, Clara, and Ryan, and Chris, and Paige went ATVing on day 5 for a little fun. Of course, being concerned about Paige, Virginia and Clara noted that she has been closed off, and Chris told the girls that, no one can relate to their situation, didn't appreciate their fake concern. I mentioned this in the first video that I just released. And Clara and Virginia argued that they meant well, but Chris lashed out and said, I don't owe you an explanation. Virginia advised Chris to go above and beyond with Paige, because if it was them, they would have left the relationship if they was in her shoes. And Chris, said he went above and beyond by telling the truth about the baby. Virginia thought it was ridiculous and that she deserves so much more. Clara stopped talking at this point, but Chris and Virginia, they still went at it. Chris is still telling her to stay out of his business. Virginia called him arrogant. He called her a drunk. She likes to drink, she said, and Chris said if Virginia's going to throw shots, he's going to throw shots back. And it just go on and on. Of course, Chris said he didn't appreciate Erik and Virginia's comments about his marriage, like when Virginia asked if the baby was his. Virginia insisted that she was just trying to give some advice, and he went off the rails. And this conversation went back and forth. I mean, because they were saying it was hard to see her as in Paige not being happy, and it's going back and forth. And Clara, again, she kind of backpedaled and got out of the situation, because of course Clara thought that, hey, you're making an angry person angrier. And I mean, it was just going back and forth, because I guess she was claiming she was trying to stand up for Paige. At the same time, Chris is saying, please stay out of our business. We want our privacy. And she felt that he wasn't doing enough in regards to making her happy. And again, Chris is saying, please respect our privacy. I don't want to talk about this with strangers. And then we have Erik comes over to try to basically step in and stop this confrontation from happening. And of course, Erik begged him to calm down. The interesting thing about this, of course, he was like, please, you guys have been disrespecting me all week. I've been telling you to stay out of this, but you guys continue to force the issue. And then, of course, he put his hand on Chris's shoulder, and, I can tell that he didn't want to be touched. And, of course, he took a step back. However, it didn't end there. They went over to try to console Paige. Chris caught Clara and Virginia talking to Paige about the situation, and he flipped out and said that he was ready to explode on somebody. Erik, of course, begged him to calm down again, but Chris said he didn't feel comfortable talking about his marriage with strangers. And, the thing is, when they interviewed him, he said that he was ready to make his co-stars live a living hell because they have been disrespectful all week. So now they're on the ride back to the hotel. And Virginia told Chris that he was being disrespectful as F to her, which made Chris yell back, "I don't give a F about you." Chris and Virginia started to scream over each other on the bus to the point where Paige had to hold Chris's arms down and tell him that she had enough. And then, of course, we saw Paige apologizing to Erik and Virginia and to leave her husband alone. So now on day 6, 4 to 5 couples minus Erik and Virginia joined together for a dinner. And this is where, of course, we remember Paige thanked everyone for their support, for being open and honest. Then we also saw Chris give an apology to everybody that was on the bus, especially to Ryan, and apologizing to his wife for how he responded. Of course, Jacob didn't really care. He was just there for the food. And I know that Ryan and Clara really appreciated that. So Virginia and Erik arrived late to dinner, and Virginia asked Paige to take a shot with her, which was clearly taking a stab at Chris. And Erik immediately decided to establish some boundaries with Chris. "I can't allow you to ever talk to my wife like that again." But then Ryan, of course, jumped in and said, "Wait a minute, Chris just apologized for his behavior. And, that's what you both are seemingly trying to do, which is the same thing." Well, Erik kept going. Erik told Chris that he was borderline and scaring people. Chris reminded Erik how he asked them to respect his privacy. And then Virginia made inappropriate jokes at his expense in front of the whole group. And so, of course, he was fed up, meaning Chris, of all of the BS. And then Erik and Virginia decided to leave the table. Chris insisted he wasn't finished talking yet. And the bickering continued. Vincent physically pushed his buddy Chris out of the room so things won't get any worse. And, of course, Erik is like, "This is un-effing believable," waving goodbye to everyone as he and Virginia left the dinner. And, of course, Clara commented that Erik and Virginia were past the point of being civil with Chris and vice versa. Virginia said Erik did a great job at handling the situation, and her father and brothers would have acted the same way. But Vincent, of course, as we saw in a separate part of this, because, it seems like people are now asked to take sides. And it's an unfortunate situation because this is the time when folks are supposed to be bonding with their own spouses. But because of what's going on with Chris and Paige, people are either overstepping boundaries, or whatever the situation people are feeling in the moment. And we do see, of course, Paige telling Brianna she can understand how Chris felt like that, why he's being defensive. Brianna is like, "This is nobody's business." And, of course, Chris is revealing that he's lost all respect for them and crossed the boundary. So now we are day 7. And Erik talked to Virginia about how Chris had allegedly taken out his frustrations on them. And Erik insisted he's not a confrontational person who, gets wrapped up in drama, and he's done with Chris. Now, Virginia worried that she and Erik was going to reach a breaking point, but that's not going to gloss over their differences by them dealing with this Chris situation. And so, like I said earlier in this video, they got major things to be concerned about. The partying, that is his issue. Her male friends, that is also his issue. And then, of course, she feels that, he's too conservative. So they got some things to figure out if they're going to be able to mesh, as she mentioned earlier, their lifestyles, because she feels he's probably a little too controlling. And then, of course, he thinks she parties too much. So we'll see how this all go in the next episode with them. All right, let's do our post notification shout out. If you wanted to be shouted out, drop a comment down below. I will see it and shout you out. The first one goes to Josh Slap. Thank you so much for engaging the channel. I really appreciate it. The next one goes to Olive Gallimore. I'm glad you like the reviews. I do try to keep a lack of criticism. I just try to go strictly from what's on the show. So I do appreciate your engagement and your comment. The next one is Tawana Martin. Thank you for your comment as well. And I'm glad you enjoying the reviews and continue watching. And then last but not least, Patricia Bailey. Thank you as well. And I'm glad that you enjoy these reviews as well. So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you soon.